easier to remember things that way. If things are wrapped up in stories, you can remember it. There's a famous experiment that if you show a chessboard in the middle of a game, if you show it to a chess master, he instantly remembers the pieces, just glancing at it for a second. If you show it to an ordinary putzer, they have no idea what's on there. However, if you take a random arrangement of chess pieces and put it on a board, the chess master can't remember it any better than the ordinary person. Isn't that amazing?
Right.
Because they see the patterns it's going towards. If somebody recites a whole bunch of stuff to you, it's hard to remember it. But if they do it as a rhyme or a poem or a rhythm, it locks in. Similarly for the mantras that will guide a company or an organization. There's some principles are just waffle. Other principles make sense.
Right.
We will find information quickly. It's great. Everybody understands it. It's right in there.
Right. Okay, so it's all about the power of communicating in a way that people can actually remember.
Yes, and the way people remember tends to be stories. Yeah. We also remember insults or humiliation, but that doesn't work very well in motivating your crowd.
Right.
Curiously, sadly, it works incredibly well in politics.
Yeah.
We're being attacked by malicious forces. This applies, the Labour leader can think that about his own party, the Tory leader can think that about her own party.
Yeah.
In fact, all of us can think about that, about the outside world. Yeah. That works well, but it tends to be negative and nasty.
Okay.
Positive stories can build a company better.
Yeah, it's amazing how many vision and mission statements are remarkably unemotional. They're sort of very dry. So you ask somebody in the organisation what it is, nobody knows what it is.
Correct.
So making sure that it's brought to life.
Yeah, if there's a story, it's good. I've looked at mission statements quite a lot, and there's one category of them that work well, and there's a skill in working well. The best research organization in the history of the world was the Cavendish Lab at Cambridge. Right. In one 20-year period, in an area the size of one office floor, they ended up with more Nobel Prizes than all of France, all of Italy, and all of Japan have ever made, ever. Isn't that incredible? And those are great countries. Yeah. And they did it, they had a single mission statement. It wasn't too abstract. You can't remember something abstract like be the best or go get 'em. Doesn't do anything. It wasn't really detailed. It wasn't say, use this equipment under a certain magnification. It was an intermediate level abstraction. They said, let's find out what's inside the atom. Everybody could follow that, but it didn't tell you, it didn't hamstring you. So everybody shared the guidance, but they had a fresh way to do it themselves.
Right.
A mid-level abstraction works well. Think of the companies where everybody understands the mission statement. Yeah. The best service, say, for well-heeled customers, or again, finding knowledge, whatever it is. If it's too abstract, it's dull, nobody cares. And if it's too detailed, it's going to go out of date quickly. Yeah. Einstein, for about 10 or 20 years, had a similar skill in science. He could find the equivalent of mid-level abstractions. He used to say that much of the world, if you look at it, is way too complex to ever understand. Why is there anything? Nobody can understand that. Yeah. Other things are so simple that they're trivial. How does this particular, something tumble down the road? Well, that's easy. It's friction and it's rolling. But find something in between, right at the edge of our knowledge, but which we can still do. This is what people who are the best VCs or the best entrepreneurs, this is what people who are the best entrepreneurs are good at. They see something which is plausible, but isn't yet mastered, and that's what they go for.
Right, okay. And they see something that might have, they have the vision of something that might not be possible now, but they're sort of waiting, or they're developing the technology to be able to build it.
Correct. They have the vision for something that's not possible now, but it's not too far away. There's beautiful ideas in science labs, and VCs know you have to be really careful. If you don't have the intermediate steps to build it, other people might get money from it 10 years from now, not yet. Yeah. Jumping too early is the problem. Yeah. Einstein used to say that he wasn't smarter than other people, and he really wasn't. There were many brilliant physicists in the 20th century, but he had a terrific sense of judgment. Right. And for 20 years, his sense of judgment was exactly right. He would hone in and say, no, don't do that, you won't get anywhere. Look at this problem. This is a ripe problem. Yeah,
and business leaders, like for example, Steve Jobs was very good at that. He was able to spot out of all the various products. When he went back from Apple, the iPod, the iPhone, he could have invested in any of them, built on any, but he was able to use his judgment. What advice do you give to business leaders to make sure that they can see the diamonds in all that noise and murky waters?
There's two ways to do it. One is to watch people who've done it really, really well and honestly see what they do, see how they do it. The other way is when you try it, try to get objective feedback. If you say, ooh, I think this is going to be a ripe field, either go for it, invest in it a little bit, or if you don't have the time to do that, if you're busy in another job, watch what happens as people do it. And after a while, it's like, remember those old cameras where you overshoot out of focus in one way, out of focus the other, and you get it just right in the middle. So the people who are good at it have feedback. And also, if you make mistakes, make them quickly.
Yeah.
Don't dwell on it. Mr. Jobs famously made many mistakes. He tended to blame other people for the mistakes, but he did make the mistakes, and that allowed him to refine his judgment.